People, Deluded, I'm back again. Good morning, and I hope you're all doing well and ready to attack the week on this Monday morning. I've woken up a bit earlier, so I thought I might as well talk about William Saliba's performance against Lyon, or my little scouting report. Now, for me, obviously they lost 1-0. Quick general points on the game. VAR, 1 minute a goal standing, then it's not standing. I feel Saliba and Fofana, listen, they were like two. If you could picture soldiers at war and madness is just going on, and these soldiers are trying their best to keep their squadron alive and things. That's what I think Fofana and Saliba were doing. They had, personally, them two centre halves for me, they had no fault in the goals they conceded. I felt St Etienne played a tiny bit better first half of the second half, but then the standards started to drop. First half, they didn't start the game good at all. Lyon were all over them. Lyon were getting in behind. Debussy was way too narrow. In fact, I can show you lot like this. They tried to go, obviously, they tried to play some sort of narrow formation because of the attackers they're playing with. And I feel they couldn't cope with, is it Gomorrez? I can't say his name, but Bruno Gomorrez, a man, let me move this for a sec. A man that we was linked with, if I just put him there, he was spreading the passes. You had Terrier, was it down the left? I'm pretty sure. You had Dembele occupying them, and he did a good job manoeuvring. And Saliba had to be very much aware of what's around on his sides. But you had their winger, you had that. You had Bertrand Traore and acres of space. If his end product was better, it'd be decent. And you had Arawa. They were pressing as a 4 people. And you had I can't even say that. They got a Lyon, I think his name's Marcel or something, they got a left back, he was bombing forward. So you could see St Etienne were under sustained amounts of pressure. And if I exaggerate this a bit more, Saliba was being pulled out into this position to cover because of my man. And what I liked from Saliba, you could see him vocally telling this guy, yo, come back. And also, Debussy was quite narrow as well. So obviously their winger could tuck in against Lyon, but he wasn't exactly doing his job. I felt Saliba stepped out with the ball when he could. I think he did well against Dembele, considering Dembele's movement. A couple of times he was unaware and they were able to make the run off him and get in behind, and balls were played in, but he dealt with it. One thing I liked about Saliba throughout this whole game, people, is he played with... One thing I like about him, and it can turn out to be a gift and a curse at times, as it will, as he's still young, his calmness on the ball. He's got that aura of a centre-half. I'm not comparing him to Van Dijk and saying he's going to be that level and things, because he needs to work very hard. But when you look at Van Dijk, and you look at, not even just Van Dijk, any top centre-half, whether they've been a ball-playing centre-half or just simply a good centre-half, they've got an aura about defender. You get this sort of bravery coming from them. You're confident in their abilities, and I get that with Saliba. Does need to probably do things a bit quicker at times, but I like him, and he was very composed on the ball when he needed to be, put a foot in when he needed to be. There was one time towards the end of the game, it's 1-0, they're chasing the game. Someone gave him the ball at centre-half. If he gives it, considering there's a couple of moments left, they need to get high up the field. He gives it to his goalkeeper, the move's restarted. Instead, he tries to do some turn thing. It goes out for a throw. On another day, he could potentially have his picket pocketed from a striker. On another day, that throw-in could be taken quickly and Lyon get a sucker punch, another goal. Sort of thing. It really was last-ditch defending at times from St Etienne, and like I said, the two centre-halves in particular, in Fofana and Saliba, I cannot blame them, people, because they did what they could, man. Like Lyon this is a big game in France. Lyon, from the first minute, in my opinion, they were on it. In the 10th minute, Saliba did do a shaky clearance. I say shaky, like I said, it was last-ditch and resolute. He was one of the only ones that put a foot in. It's like he sliced it with his right foot, but it came to no avail. Like I said, man, I liked his ability to anticipate danger, and obviously telling his teammates to get not only stuck in but to hold their position, people. At times I notice he goes to the floor unnecessarily. He could look to stay on his feet. Like there was an incident, he dived in the box. It weren't a penalty, but you know, on another day these things happen. You need to learn to stand up as a defender. He's only 18, 19, so there's not much you can expect. But it was a confident performance from him, and like, I really believe it's a case of all he needs is game time. All he needs is game time. With game time, he gets experience. He polishes these edges with experience. I think that's all he needs. because he the base is there from him. He's quick. He can read the game. He's the mentality. I mean, he's playing in a big Lyon game. He's what him and Fofana a good mentality, because it's a big game against Lyon. They're not in it. I'm not seeing either player's head get dropped or head lost. They're remaining calm, collective, and composed, and I think that will help them. So like I said, he's got the temperament, he's got the ball playing, he's got the early foundations of a good defender, he's got the athletic ability. He shows in a willingness to marshal the line, be aware of runners, telling wingers to tuck in, and left backs to tuck in. These are all the promising things you like to see from him, people. And it's very much a case of game time. With experience, you become a bit more street smart. Your anticipation skills become a bit better, because he does need to probably time that a bit better. I wouldn't say he's like a Koscielny in that he's aggressive, but when the ball's there to be won, he certainly likes to win it, and it's about anticipating them things a bit better as you get older. He really is going to be a quality centre-half for us, man, and hopefully he's a linchpin for the rest of the season, not only the rest of the, not only for next season, but for the rest of his Arsenal career, however long that will be, people. Like I said, on a side note, I lost count how many times VAR had a part to play in this game, people. With this defeat to Lyon, though, now leaves Saliba's side 16th in the table. So, yeah, man, it's not really been a good little patch for Claude Puel's men and whatnot. But in relation to Saliba, him, and I keep saying Fofana like he's owned by Arsenal, but he's a good young player as well. They're two players who could leave that field with some real credibility based on that game, in my opinion, people. If I had to give him a rating out of 10, I'd give him a 7. I think he was calm, composed, collected, like I said, defended when needed to, stuck a foot in when needed to, ultimately showed good organisation. I like to see good temperament throughout the whole game in the context of this game from him, people. Because his team, they like in the first half, it was last-ditch defending, because it was basically St Etienne's back four versus the rest, because like the midfield weren't getting on the ball, strikers non-existent. They were just possession is being given back to Lyon, and they're having to last-ditch defend and get out and get a body there and block shots and all of these things. The goal they conceded was a Debussy. Debussy gave away the free kick, and it was a good set-piece delivery. I watched the goal several times to see if Saliba's positioning could have been better. There's nothing he could have done. He marked his man. It's nothing to do with him, sort of thing, people. If I'm lying, was it 1 or 2? I can't even. I lost count now. I think it was 2-0. Dembele scored a penalty. Let me check, because 1 minute VAR is counting goals, and then it's not, and you don't know how it is, man. Let me type in St Etienne. I think it was 1. Wait, see, yeah, it's 2-0. I completely forgot Dembele scored in added on time, people. So Dembele got a brace, and that's a good experience as well for Saliba, because he played against Dembele. I wouldn't say he pocketed Dembele, but I wouldn't say Dembele was amazing yesterday. Ultimately, he scored the goals. I did think Dembele should have had a penalty before that penalty, because he looked like he was onside, and he was brought down by the St Etienne keeper. Bruno Guimaraes, I have to praise that guy again. His vision is good. We'll never know if Arsenal legitimately wanted him or not, people, but it could be one we missed out on, because the vision he was displaying in that game. And Aouar, I'll be amazed if he's still at Lyon, man. I mean, surely Liverpool go for my man, Manchester City go for him with the rebuild. I think he's got it all to even play for Barcelona and Madrid and these teams there, man. I mean, he's not a regular in the France side, but it's a matter of time, man. That guy's a baller. Last point, to reiterate how much St Etienne were not in this game at half-time, people. At half-time against Lyon, they had 22% possession, 62% of it was successful passes. They completed just 111 passes. They had 3 shots with 1 on target, so they were very much toothless. So there wasn't much that could be done, really and truly, but yeah, man, another game. Saliba looks more confident. We're happy to see him develop, and we're keen to see him next season, what Arteta can do with him. Because for me, now that I'm seeing a defensive structure at Arsenal, we're not perfect, but you can say it's a case of if Arteta had a better defender or better couple of centre-halves, we would defend better, because there's a more emphasis thing. I'm happy to see Saliba come into that structure, because I didn't want him to come into no malfunctioning structure in this team where people are just going to expect the fact that he's cost a decent amount of money for a teenager. He's 6'4", fast ball player, physical specimen, potential seen as this, and just be set up to fail sort of thing, because he's going to learn some harsh lessons. I think he's going to show his quality, but he is going to go through some tough moments and some bad moments. He's going to learn some harsh lessons. But against Dembele, he had a good performance, man. The last credible striker I really saw him play against, well, there has been, but when he played against Diallo of Metz so far this season, that's the one I'm looking at where he's had the hardest of games and he's been stressed out. And no disrespect for Diallo, but in terms of physical specimens, man that work the channels, man that never give up, in terms of strikers against defenders, there's a whole bag of them dotted about in the Premier League. Do you see what I'm saying, people? But on that note, there's nothing more to say. Thank you for listening. I'm going to get out of it. Enjoy the rest of your day. DG, I'm out.